Good day, sir. Today I will discuss about the performance standards for electronic chart display and information system, or the ICDIS, for route monitoring and voyage recording. So in route monitoring 11.4.1, for route monitoring, the selected route and own ship's position should appear whenever the display covers that area. 11.4.2, it should be possible to display a sea area that does not have the ship on the display, like for example, for look ahead route planning. While the route planning, if this is done on the display used for route monitoring, the automatic route monitoring function, like for updating ship's position and providing alerts and indications, should be continuous. It should be possible to return to the route monitoring display covering own ship's position immediately by single operator action. And 11.4.3, it should be possible to select that ICDIS gives an alarm and related graphical indication if, within a specified time or distance set by the mariner, own ship will pass closer than a user selected distance from the safety contour. There should be a permanent indication when the safety contour alarm is deselected. In 11.4.4, ICDIS should give a warning or caution or indication as selected by the mariner and related graphical indication if, within a specified time or distance set by the mariner, if own ship will pass closer than a user selected distance from the boundary of a user selectable category of prohibited area or of a geographical area for which special condition exists. We see this in Appendix 4. The user selectable categories should be the same as user selections for the display of objects and be based on IHO standards. There should be a permanent indication when any user selectable categories are deselected. Details of the deselection should be available on demand. In 11.4.5, an alarm should be given when the specified cross-track limit for deviation from the selected route, if defined by the mariner, when route planning is exceeded. In 11.4.6, this should give a warning or caution or indication as selected by the mariner and related graphical indication if continuing on its present course and speed over a specified time or distance set by the mariner. Own ship will pass closer than a user-specified distance from a user-selectable category of danger, like the obstruction, wreck, or rock that is shallower than the mariner's safety contour, or a user-selectable category of A2 navigation. The user-selectable categories should be the same as user selections for the display of objects and be based on IHO standards. There should be a permanent indication when any of the user-selectable categories are deselected. Details of the deselection should be available on demand. In 11.4.7, a graphical indication should be given if the current or the next leg of the selected route passes closer than a user-specified distance from the safety contour. Then, in 11.4.8, a graphical indication should be given if the current or the next leg of the selected route goes closer than a user-specified distance from a boundary of a user-selectable category of prohibited area or a geographic area for which special conditions exist, in Appendix 4. A graphical indication should also be given if the selected route goes closer than a user-specified distance from a user-selectable category of point object, such as a fixed or floating aid to navigation or isolated danger. The user-selectable categories should be the same as user selections for the display of objects and be based on IHO standards. In 11.4.9, it should be possible for the mariners to select the indication of 11.4.3 and .4 and 11.4.7, and 11.4.8 take into account accuracy information of relevant hydrographic information as defined by IHL standard. In 11.4.10, the ship's position should be derived from a continuous positioning system of an accuracy consistent with the requirements of safe navigation. Whenever possible, a second independent positioning source, preferably of a different type, should be provided. In such cases, ICDIS should be capable of identifying discrepancies between the two sources. In 11.4.11, ICDIS should provide a warning when the input from position, heading, or speed sources is lost. ICDIS should also be repeated but only as an indication. Any alerts or indication passed to it from position, heading, or speed sources. In 11.4.12, a warning should be given by ICDIS when the ship reaches a specified time or distance set by the mariner in advance of a critical point on the planned route. In 11.4.13, the positioning system and the system database should be the same geodetic data. ICDIS should give a warning if this is not the case. In 11.4.14, it should be possible to display alternative routes in addition to the selected route. The selected route should be clearly distinguishable from the other routes. During the voyage, it should be possible for the mariner to modify the selected route or change to an alternative route. In 11.4.15, it should be possible to display in point 1 time labels along a ship's track manually on demand and automatically at intervals selected between 1 and 120 minutes, and an adequate number of pre-movable electronic bearing lines, variable and fixed range markers, and other symbols required for navigation purposes as specified in Appendix 3. In 11.4.16, it should be possible to enter the geographical coordinates of any position and then display that position on demand. Also, it should be possible to select any point, like feature, symbols, or position on the display and read its geographical coordinates on demand. And in 11.4.17, it should be possible to adjust the displayed geographic position of the ship manually. So this ship, the adjustment should be indicated alphanumerically on the screen, maintained until altered by the mariner and automatically recorded. And 11.4.18, ICDIS should provide the capability to enter and plot manually obtained bearing and distance lines of position, or the LOP, and calculate the resulting position of own ship. It should be possible to use the resulting position as an origin for dead reckoning. In 11.4.19, the ICDIS should indicate discrepancies between the position obtained by continuous positioning system and position obtained by manual observation. In voyage recording 11.5.1, ICDIS should store and be able to reproduce certain minimum elements required to reconstruct the navigation and verify the official database used during the previous 12 hours. So the following data should be recorded at 1-minute intervals, like to ensure a record of own ship's past track, time, position, heading, and speed. In point 2, to ensure a record of officials' data used, ENC source, edition, date, sell and update history, and any changes in safety contour, look ahead, and route monitoring alert setting. And 11.5.2, ICDIS should output the information listed in 11.5.1.2 and 11.5.1.3 to a voyage data recorder. In 11.5.3, in addition, ICDIS should record the complete track for the entire voyage with time marks at interval not exceeding 4 hours. In 11.5.4, it should not be possible to manipulate or change the recorded information, and in 11.5.5, ICDIS should have a capability to preserve the record of the previous 12 hours in the voyage track. And that's all, sir. Thank you.